Okay, what we're going to do today is, like I told you before, is having the problems with the weather we're having and trying to keep my trap sets functioning. So today what we're going to do is we're going to make some wax dirt. Well, Eli has hooked up. We got it here clanking, Coco. Several different ways. I've got it set line. What kind of spurs you got? And I'll step you guys through the process on how to do that, and tell you a little bit about the benefits of the waxed dirt. Like I was stating earlier, it's hydrophobic. You put it in your trap bed, instead of using dry dirt, they'll absorb the moisture. The waxed dirt is hydrophobic, and it expels the rain. If it happened to have a heavy rain, it just kind of keeps your dirt dry. If just imagine what happens if you have a big rain and then at night you have a freeze and your trap is sitting in that basically mud. It just froze in. You're just going to have whatever critters that comes through. They're just going to come in. They're going to steal your bait. You're not going to get any animals in your traps. You're going to have a bunch of blank sets with no bait in them. And they're just going to be sitting there killing time. So what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of step you guys through the process of how to make wax dirt using those trap sets. Just basic things. You don't have to have a whole lot. Paraffin wax. Candle wax won't work. Beeswax won't work. You need paraffin wax. It's got to be paraffin wax because the way it adheres to the dirt, it doesn't get clumpy. It actually will bind to the dirt and create a wax dirt. Use those other waxes and they don't. You end up with clumps. So paraffin wax, trapping wax is also paraffin wax a lot of times. So you can use, if you have trapper's wax, that'll work as well. But I like just straight paraffin. Dirt. You need to start out with basically some dry dirt. It doesn't have to be completely dry, but the drier the better, because that speeds up the next process I'm going to tell you about. Need some type of pot or pan or something to heat the dirt up in, to dry it out. Need a heat source. You sieve your dirt. So I've just got a trapper sieve here. I'm using the trap line. I'm just going to use that to sieve my dirt out. And need something to flake the wax with. This mandolin works really well for that. It's got two settings. It's got blades that come up right here that will shred it one direction, and then it's got the slicing blade as well, so you end up with little bitty tiny pieces of wax. That's what you want to stir in to the dirt. It makes it, just speeds it up a whole lot quicker. The ratio we're going to use is, you need 3 cups of wax per gallon of dirt. Now I've got 2 cups of wax here, so we're going to use just a little bit less than a gallon of dirt. We're going to use approximately 3/4 of a gallon of dirt, and that'll yield almost a gallon of wax dirt. That'll do 3/4 of a gallon. That'll do 5 or 6 traps. And no more time than I've got right now to be doing any trapping. That'll be plenty to get me started and until I can get some more wax dirt made. All right, we'll kind of go through the process here. First thing you want to do is you want to sieve your dirt. So I just picked up some dirt here out of the barn. We're in Steve's barn, the lovely barn of death is what a lot of people call it. You just want to sieve your dirt. There's going to be some grass in here, some straw. That won't hurt anything. Won't hurt anything at all. So you just want to keep sieving that out. See them getting the thick parts out. You don't want those. You want just the fine particulates. All you want in there. So So you keep sieving till you get the desired amount, which is going to be basically everything that I've got here right now. As you're going, if you keep dumping out that thicker stuff, this kind of speeds you up a little bit. Roll brain a little bit and do it that way. This sieve box here is a tool we also use in the trap line. That's its specific purpose. When you're setting in a trap and you're using the dirt that's around you, you don't want a bunch of, see the size of all that stuff there, what's coming out of there? Well, there's some bigger chunks. You don't want that stuff down around on your trap. Anything that gets under the trap that will rot, anything that might happen to get under the pan, just anything obscure at all that keeps that trap from going off when the whatever critter it is that you're after steps on that pan, you don't want that. So you want the dirt to be as fine as possible. So you literally just take this shaker after you get your trap bed made, you get your trap set, and you'll just shake dirt over the top of your trap. Or in your trap bed before you set it. All right, I'm just gonna keep sieving this right here, and we'll get back in a second when I get all this sieved. All right, we've got all our dirt sieved, and we've got our final product right here. Just real fine, dusty type dirt now, and that's what we're wanting. Like I said before, there's some straw and stuff in there, but that won't hurt a thing. You're just after that real fine, dry as possible dirt that you can get. Now we're gonna dry this dirt now by heating it up. I'm going to set my shaker over here out of the way. We're going to heat this dirt up on just a simple burner, and just simply by applying heat, you'll dry it out. So I can keep from catching my face on fire. I'll crank that up pretty good. Make sure everything's sturdy here. Don't want to burn Steve's barn down. Kind of doing a double purpose here. I've got an old cast iron that had gotten rusty, and this will serve kind of a second purpose, the process of reseasoning that cast iron. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to get my wax to as fine a state as possible. These are just canning paraffin wax. That's all this is. Let me find me something to put this in. All right. Now all I got to do is set our mandolin. Want it set thin, so set the depth on our mandolin, and then set the shredder blades. So you don't want to go crazy with it. About like so. All you want to do now, I ain't gonna use that. That's working fine the other way. You want this wax in the smallest pieces as possible. This doesn't take too terribly long. It's kind of a pain in the tail, but it's a necessary step to get that wax as small as possible. You do it with a pocket knife, cheese grater, anything you got, but this mandolin just works really fast. All right, I'm gonna get this shredded up, and then I'll get back in a second. With your dirt, you want to keep it stirring and moving at all times. And not everybody has a broke 1 foot measuring device to do this with. It's my preferred choice, but you don't have to have one. You can use whatever you got. Some people like to even use a spoon or something like that. It's kind of archaic, but whatever. I like the ruler. I don't know if you can see the steam coming off of it or not, but It's actually getting steam coming off the dirt where the moisture is burning off of it. And I'm just going to steadily keep this dirt moving. After it heats up pretty good and there's no more steam coming off of it, you don't want the steam. Once the steam is gone, and that's when you can add the paraffin. Paraffin will melt at 133 degrees. And this dirt will be, by the time we get it where we want it, it'll be 160, 170 degrees. So it'll melt the paraffin pretty easy. But you want it as dry as possible. All right, we're gonna keep stirring. Keep it watching. Keep it stirring. You're looking for that steam. Some pretty good steam coming off now. That's what we're looking for.
I didn't know you was videoing. All right, playing in the video.
Oh, Corey stopped by and he helped me get the wax shredded up real good. Anyway, we've got 3 cups of wax here, and it's going to go into a gallon of dirt. 3 cups of wax to a gallon of dirt. I've been stirring this dirt all along. You just want to keep stirring it because there's not a lot of steam coming off. And as you can see, there's still quite a bit of steam. I got a bowl of dirt. Just keep it stirring. You'll be amazed how much moisture is in just dirt. This dirt has been in the barn. It hasn't even been outside. It rained probably 2.5 inches last night. But this dirt is still. It was in the dry, but it's still just full of moisture. It's been cooking now for approximately 45 minutes maybe. We're still getting steam off of it, so we're just gonna keep cooking it till the steam goes away. Got the wax ready to put in as soon as it gets all the moisture out. Had to take a jacket off. It's getting hot in here. Keep watching. I mentioned before about the subscribing. I know it's a pain in the butt. I post the videos on Facebook. You click on the video on Facebook, and you can go and watch the video. But to subscribe, you have to log in to YouTube. I think I said Facebook. But you have to log into YouTube to subscribe. It's a pain. I know it is. But if you guys will go ahead and just take that extra few minutes, it's self-explanatory as you go. If you don't have an account, it doesn't cost you anything. It's completely free. It's called a subscription, and that's kind of misleading to a lot of people. They think, well, there's a monetary charge, but there's not. It's just all that subscription means is that you have the ability to push a button that will alert you every time I have a video that comes up, and that helps me immensely. I've got to have 1,000 viewers, 4,000 views, 1,000 viewers. The views isn't a problem. I get the views, but the subscribers is what I have a problem with. And I know it's a growing process, and it's something that any YouTuber has to go through. But I'd like to speed it up any way I can, and I feel like that the group that I cater to are not no nonsense to a bigger degree, and there is some nonsense that you have to go through. I understand that to subscribe, but I really would appreciate it if you would go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It'd mean the world to me. Quicker we can get this thing monetized and start doing a little bit of something with it, quicker I can start funding some of these camps and doing more videos. Right now I'm getting maybe one a week on. But I'd like to be in a position where I could put one maybe every other day. Got a lot of ideas, but I've got to have the time to do it. And what that would allow me to do, if I could get that position to be monetized, that would give me more time to do those things. And I love doing this stuff. I'm no master at anything, absolutely not. But I've got just enough knowledge of anything outdoors to get myself in trouble with the people that really do. So like with this, I'm no trapper, and I've trapped a lot in my life, and I've caught a lot of critters, but I'm no professional trapper. If someone was to tell me that I'd have to make a living trapping right now with the knowledge I have, it'd be hard. I could figure it out, and I could do it, to push off good numbers, but it's a tough thing. So if you would please subscribe. That's my plea for the day. I'll quit rambling now. Go back to cooking my duck. Not a sponsor. If y'all haven't tried the ginger Mountain Dew, you need to try it. It's really stinking good. Very good. And it's also necessary if you make wax dirt. You have to have a ginger Mountain Dew and a Reese's Nut Rages. You can't do this without that. And if you don't like either one of those, I'm sorry, you can't make wax dirt. Every time I eat any kind of candy bar that's in that form, I think of Bill Murray. A lot of y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Got some cool video ideas coming up. Me and my family started a tradition a couple years ago. Instead of spending a lot of money on Christmas presents for each other, we go on a family vacation together during Christmas, or right after Christmas this year. We're going to leave on the 26th. We'll be gone until right after the New Year. But anyway, we like surf fishing, saltwater fishing. So we got a condo rented in Gulf Shores, and we'll go down there and we'll fish. We usually go down there 2-3 times a year and fish. Different seasons, different fish. There's different fish bites, different parts of the year. We've been going down there, like I said, 2-3 years, and we begin to figure some of the fish out, and we honestly probably catch more than the average hillbilly does going down there to the redneck Riviera. So I've had a lot of people ask me about how to catch the fish down there. Again, not an expert. You're talking to somebody from the foot of Magazine Mountain in Arkansas, Havana, Arkansas. So not a professional saltwater fisherman by no means. Not a guru or anything like that. Just an old hillbilly that loves to fish and pays attention. So we figured a lot of these fish out to where we can eat fish while we're there, and we can bring enough fish home to have several fish fries for a pretty good crowd of people when we get back. Anyway, a lot of people have been asking me, you know, what gear do I need to take down there? What is necessary? What isn't necessary? What makes it easier? What baits can I use this time of year? Where do I fish? What kind of difference does the tide make? All those different questions like that. Well, I'm planning on doing a video from a redneck's perspective on fishing the Alabama coast in that area. So you guys just kind of stay tuned for that. That'll be a fun one. And I think we're about where we need to be. A lot of what you're seeing now is smoke coming off the grass that was left in the dirt. Like, I'm not real concerned about that. It's no big deal at all. But we're going to let that cool down just a little bit, and we'll start adding the wax. Go get this pot off that burner and down to something more stable. Least likely to catch the world on fire. And get this out of the way. Now, it's not necessary to get the dirt as hot as what I got it, but because of where I got it from, if you look, well, you can't see it, but this right here, there's gambrel right above my head. And like I stated before, we refer to Steve's barn as the barn of death, but there's been, in the last 3 years, there's been close to 60 deer hanging right here. Got a lot of different folks. We process all of our deer meat and everything in this barn. And right here under this, I collected the dirt just right here close to me. So because of all the smells and everything that was in that dirt, I heated it up a little bit hotter than I needed to. So you're seeing some smoke, and that's burning off the grasses and stuff that was in that dirt. And I wanted to kill any of those scents from the deer blood and the bear blood and the bobcat blood and all the critters, fish, everything that's been cleaned in this barn. I want to kind of get rid of all that. I'll put a picture right here of one of the, there's a cool picture I took. We were processing deer. We had one deer packaged, we had one deer cut up on the table right here, and we had a deer hanging in the background. So I just thought that was a cool picture, the way it all played out. It was pretty cool. Okay, we're going to check the temperature of the dirt. The dirt is stupid hot. And when I say stupid hot, I'm not talking like 250, 300 degrees. I'm talking knocking on the doors of Hades hot. This stuff is hot. This is a 250 degree thermometer, and it topped off twice, and then started up again, made it to about 100. So we're right at 600 degrees on our dirt. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that at all. Promise. I'm curious. I'm just going to instant melt. Drop the wax on top of the dirt and it. I've never applied the wax with dirt that hot. Not sure what it'd do. I want to run just a little bit of an experiment here and kind of see what happens. I actually think it'd be fine. Made a lot of wax dirt, but like I said, I've never gotten it this hot before. Kind of underestimated that little burner that I had. I don't think it's a problem. Like I said, I don't think it's a problem at all. Comment below if you've ever made wax dirt before. I don't know who all that watches my channel, what you all do. Comment where you're from. Just like I said, I get 96% of my viewers. I don't even know anything about them because they're not subscribers. I've got a couple videos that's got quite a few views, and that would give me several thousand subscribers if I could find a way of getting all those people to subscribe. I understand interest, and I understand that people don't want their YouTube channel just cluttered up with notifications constantly. I understand all that. I really do. But let me be one of those annoyances to you. I'd really love to. Gonna continue to melt this wax in with the dirt. Stir it. As you stir your dirt, depending on the composition of your dirt, whether you're using loamy or sandy dirt, you can use sand for this. But if you can imagine carrying a 5 bucket full of this around, sand just don't work well for that. Took all the moisture out of dirt and it just gets super, super light. One of the main things I was looking for a while ago when I was stirring it is when you first start stirring wetter dirt that's got any moisture content at all, not a lot of dust. But you cook this dirt down long enough and you begin to see when you stick the stir rod or whatever you're using. I've actually went through 2 or 3 different things here. Afraid I was going to melt the ruler, so I avoided the ruler. May or may not have snuck into Raquel's house and got one of her plastic spoons, and I didn't melt it. Close, but I didn't. But anyway, you'll start stirring and you'll see dust start coming up, real fine dust, and that's what you want. That lets you know that getting all the moisture out of it. Everybody knows wet dirt is not dusty. And when it's dusty like that, it's a lighter color. You go to adding the wax and it makes it darker. Just gonna dump the rest of the wax in there now. I feel kind of like Julia Childs a little bit. When I was a kid growing up, I loved Joy Childs. Loved watching all the cooking shows. Just talking about my mom earlier. Anybody that knew my mom knew how good a cook she was. She was an outstanding cook. And she never cooked the recipes. You'll find that your better cooks will hardly ever, I won't say use a recipe, but they won't stick to a recipe. They'll modify it somehow. They'll put their own little pinch of love in there, however they need to. And that's what my mom was. And when we was growing up, we grew up in the kitchen watching. She always got us involved when she was cooking. Even up until she passed away in 2016, I'd still sometimes just go and sit and watch her cook, talk to her while she was cooking. That was her happy place. One of the best conversations I ever had with my mom was sitting around the stove while she was cooking. So I'll probably do some cooking videos too. I love to cook. I'll try not to bore you with things that you already know about. So maybe we can do some exotic wild game. Make it daring. There's a couple things that I've never eaten before in Arkansas. Only a couple. Never eaten skunk. Never eaten possum, and I've never eaten armadillo. If this video makes it to 300 views, I've got 152 subscribers now. 300 views, I get 10 more subscribers, so I get to 162 subscribers, and 20 likes. That's really reasonable. I will let you guys decide. I can't believe I've even done this. But I will catch, clean, cook, and eat whatever y'all choose out of armadillo, possum, or skunk. Scout's honor. May or may not get a couple other guys involved there as well. Like that Dido song, I will not go down with this ship. I will poke my eyes out of wherever, she says. Anyway, y'all do all that, and I'll word of honor. I'll do that. Right hand, word of honor. Joe Dietrich, maybe giving you a call. Bill Murray again, every time. All right, we've cooled down now to a balmy 380 degrees. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get this dirt out of this cast iron Dutch oven and into something where it cool off, because they're just sitting there maintaining heat. The residual heat from that Dutch oven is going to keep it hot. We're going to go ahead and dump it. Spread out as best as can. This is really dark, but that won't hurt a thing. A lot of that was from the grasses that was in it earlier. Remember all the grass and stubble we were seeing it earlier? All that's gone. So some of this you're seeing is ash, the color, and then the wax made it darker as well. Not really concerned about any of that. That's all. This is just a material that we're going to use, just a substrate for the trap beds. All this is. I know Pastor Thomas, he watches my videos a lot, and I know he's a trapper. Do you make wax dirt, Pastor? No, I see you trapping from time to time. I didn't know if you mess with wax dirt or not. Now you don't have to use the wax dirt all the time. This is just for when the conditions begin like they are now. Up until I put traps out, you basically didn't have to have it this year. And I normally don't start trapping until after deer season, rifle season is kind of over. We started just a hair earlier because of that very reason, because the coyotes were hunting deer in a food plot we have. Like I said before, I'll post some videos of all the coyotes. It's absolutely unreal. And I know by nature of the beast that if we're having that problem, there's a lot of folks that's having the same problem. If you're close, holler at me. I might be able to help you out with coyotes. Pastor Thomas, he traps. I don't know if Jimbo Rogers is trapping this year or not. I know he's a very good trapper. He's a professional trapper in this area. He never has messed with coyotes much though. If you start trapping thinking you're going to make a lot of money trapping, you're not going to make a lot of money trapping. You make some. You can pay for your traps. You can pay for your fuel. But unless you can snare coyotes or catch live coyotes and either live traps or leg holds and medicate them back to health, get them shots and all that, and sell to pens, there's not a whole lot of money in it. And I have done that before. Made pretty good money one year. The year before we trapped the 42 coyotes up there on the farm. That's my best year ever. And the boys hunting and trapping, not just trapping, hunting and trapping both. We killed 42 coyotes one season. And it helped the deer population immensely. The year before that, we had a pretty good deer herd. You know, for this area, it was probably above average a little bit. And I say we're just in the area we're in, the deer were there. But at the beginning of the season, camera season, we first started putting cameras out in August, picking up all kinds of fawns. I mean, just a bunch of fawns. And by the time bow season come in, about half those fawns were missing. Well, the twins and a couple, those we had triplets coming in, they just had one fawn. And then by the time rifle season come in, wasn't hardly any fawns at all. So we had a pretty bleak year that year on numbers, and we just decided we was going to kind of do something about it, and we did. That following year, we began to trap as soon as we could legally trap. You can trap coyotes year round now on private land. But that 42 was just in the trapping season. That wasn't year round. That's before they implemented the year-long law. Anyway, after that we seen a spike in the deer herd. Not a spike, but never mind. the number jumped way up there. Recruitment of the fawns was a whole lot higher. A whole lot funner time hunting because you were seeing deer constantly. Just a good time. And it's because we got rid of coyotes. It's just basically that simple. All right. Gonna let this cool and bag it. And that's pretty much all there. It's probably still too hot to touch. Still pretty warm. That's real fine. We'll do a test. Okay, if I've done this right, don't forget to give me just a second here. If I've done this right, the Mountain Dew will just kind of pull up in the top of that and won't absorb into it. See that? It just kind of pulled up there. And this is what happens. Dry. Completely dry. I can push all the dirt that's sitting on top of it over back into the dry pile. Dry as it can be. All the Mountain Dew right there. That's why we make wax dirt. All right. Next time you see me, we'll be applying this wax dirt. Thank you guys for watching and listening to me ramble. I know it's just been a long, obnoxious spill, but I appreciate it. If you would, please subscribe. I know I've preached that to death, but it honestly does help me. And I'm still trying to learn where to look when I'm this close to the camera. It freaks me out a little bit. All right. Love you guys. Next time you see me, we're going to put traps in the ground. Appreciate it.